got so much fucking design on right now.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking Noor Fitri Anisa's brilliant summary of Ramadan fasting rules. We'll be looking specifically at the 18th century masterpiece Sabil al-Mutadeen by Sheikh Mohammed Arshad al-Banjari. We're going to explore the beautiful intricacies of Islamic jurisprudence and see exactly how centuries-old rulings literally still answer some of our most modern questions today. Okay, so let's dive right into this foundational text. It's from the 1700s, but it remains incredibly relevant for Muslims navigating both traditional worship and modern life. Sheikh al-Banjari was a massively influential scholar in the Nusantara region, that's the Southeast Asian archipelago, and his work provides a highly precise, structured lens through the Shafi'i school of thought. Honestly, it's just fascinating how a text that old gives us such crystal clarity right now. Here is what we're covering today. First, the classical foundation. Second, the Sunnah of fasting. Third, what invalidates the fast. Fourth, Fidyah, compensating missed fasts. Fifth, comparing the four imams. And finally, modern medicine and fasting. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the classical foundation. We'll begin by exploring the foundational practices exactly as Sheikh al-Banjari laid them out. You see, the framework of Ramadan is highly structured. Understanding these exact parameters is what helps us confidently fulfill this core fourth pillar of Islam. The rulings we're looking at aren't just made up, they're firmly rooted in the Quran, specifically Surah Al-Baqarah, alongside authentic hadiths and scholarly consensus, also known as ijma. It's basically a masterfully organized system designed to give believers absolute clarity. Moving right along to Section 2, the Sunnah of fasting. Let's look at how classical scholars advised us to structure our daily habits. Following the natural rhythm of the day, it's highly recommended to eat suhoor and actually delay it until just before the doubtful dawn. Doing this naturally strengthens your body for worship. And a quick pro tip from the text, the absolute best food for this is dates. Then, throughout the day, you've got to maintain strict purity of action and speech. Guard your tongue, no lying or cursing. If someone challenges you, the text advises just simply replying, I am fasting. It's also recommended to perform the ghusl, the bath for major impurity, before dawn, just so you start the day in a pure state. Finally, you want to hasten to break the fast the exact second sunset is confirmed, again, preferably with fresh dates or water. Now, what's really interesting here is the specific detail on what to avoid. For example, wishal fasting, which means fasting continuously into the next day without breaking it at all, is strictly haram. But get this, using a miswak or a teeth cleaning twig actually becomes makruh, meaning discouraged, after the sun has passed its zenith at midday. Why? Well, the classical texts emphasize that the specific breath of a fasting person in the afternoon is beloved to Allah. So brushing away that scent kind of diminishes that unique state of worship. You should also naturally avoid anything that provokes desire or risks breaking the fast, like unnecessary cupping or just casually tasting food. All right, Section 3. What invalidates the fast? We need to know exactly what nullifies the fast, assuming the action is intentional. The text is exceptionally clear on this point. Intentionally inserting any object, food or medicine into an open body cavity invalidates the fast. And we're talking the mouth, nose, ears, and other specific cavities like the anus or genitals. The absolute key phrase here is intentional, along with knowing the ruling. So intentional vomiting breaks the fast. Intentional ejaculation by hand or touch without a barrier also breaks it. Even doing something like excessive gargling or diving underwater that leads to you swallowing water will break your fast, simply because the boundary of those open cavities was breached. But there's so much mercy built into this jurisprudence. If you genuinely forget you're fasting and eat a whole meal, or accidentally swallow some road dust, or even a fly, your fast remains completely valid. It's totally fine. The law accommodates human error and environmental stuff that's just out of your control. Swallowing your own unmixed saliva is perfectly fine too. It's only when actions become deliberate and cross those physical boundaries that the fast is nullified. Moving to Section 4, Fidyah, compensating missed fasts. The big question is, what happens when you just can't fast, or a fast is broken? This is where we look to Fidyah. It's a compensatory payment, a physical donation of a specific measure of staple food, like rice, used to basically make up for the missed day. In the Shafi school, one mud is roughly 675 grams of a staple food, and this has to be given directly to the poor and needy. Think of it less like a penalty fine and more like a social redistribution mechanism built directly into the act of worship itself. The actual requirement shifts around based on your specific circumstance. Say you're very elderly or chronically ill with no real hope of recovery, you only pay the fidyah. There's no makeup fast or qada required. But let's say a pregnant or breastfeeding woman breaks her fast specifically because she fears for her child's health. In that case, she owes both the makeup fast and the fidyah. And here's a big one. If you missed a fast and then just kept delaying making it up until the next Ramadan rolled around without any valid excuse, you owe both the qada and the fidyah. And incredibly, that fidyah amount actually multiplies for every single year you delay. Section 5. Comparing the 4 imams. We've focused heavily on the Shafi'i school so far, but let's see how this builds across the broader schools of Islamic thought. This brilliantly illustrates the true diversity of Islamic jurisprudence. Just look at how the Maliki school stands completely distinct by requiring only a makeup fast for pregnant women who fear for their baby, while the Shafi school, like we just discussed, requires both the makeup fast and the fidyah. The Hanbali school does the exact opposite of the Maliki school, requiring only the fidyah with no makeup fast at all. And then the Hanafi school is super unique because it actually allows for monetary substitution instead of just food. It's a beautiful spectrum of scholarly interpretation, and it's all drawn from the exact same Quranic verse. Finally, Section 6, Modern Medicine and Fasting. How exactly does a text from the 18th century interact with today's medical breakthroughs? This is where the classical framework truly shines. Scholars use a classical technique called qiyas, or analogy. They link al-Banjari's old ruling that a minor skin prick doesn't break a fast directly to the modern application of a continuous glucose monitor, or a CGM. You see, a CGM uses a super thin sensor that only penetrates the superficial dermis of the skin. It doesn't introduce any nutrients, and it definitely doesn't enter an open, deep body cavity. The classical text specifically mentions fashtu dam qalilan, meaning a small amount of blood from the skin does not invalidate the fast. Because of this, contemporary heavyweights like Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi and Wahba az-Zuhaili confirm that non-nutritive, superficial devices like CGMs and even shallow skin injections absolutely do not break the fast. They perfectly align modern diabetes management right alongside classical Shafi fiqh. The strict physical boundaries set way back in the 1700s, defining exactly what an open body cavity is, give us the exact mathematical formula we need to permit life-saving wearable tech today. It's genuinely mind-blowing. So as our medical technology evolves at lightning speed, merging closer and closer with our physical bodies, it leaves us with a huge question. What other incredible contemporary medical puzzles will find their answers in the brilliant pages of historical texts? The foundation has already been laid. We just have to read it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning and keep learning.